Lily Gray was a 37-year-old elementary school teacher living a simple, ordinary life in Vermont. She spent her days focused on teaching fifth graders, grading papers, and enjoying the quiet routines of her everyday life. While Lily occasionally attended church and believed in the possibility of a higher power, she wouldn't have described herself as deeply spiritual. For her, life was grounded in practicalities, shaped by logic and the scientific principles she taught to her students. Everything changed on November 15, 2022. What should have been a routine appendectomy turned into an experience that altered her perception of life, death, and existence itself. That day, Lily arrived at the hospital with what she thought was a straightforward medical issue. Her doctors assured her the procedure was standard and low risk. As she lay on the operating table, she felt calm, reassured by the professionalism of the medical team. The anesthesiologist counted down, and Lily's world went dark. If you believe in God and near-death experiences, subscribe to Life at NDE today. Discover inspiring messages from God through powerful near-death stories that bring hope and understanding. Hit subscribe now and join us in spreading the light of faith. But instead of slipping into unconsciousness as she had expected, Lily experienced something extraordinary. Moments after the anesthesia took effect, she realized she was no longer lying on the operating table. At first, there was nothing but an overwhelming stillness, a comforting void of darkness. Then, slowly, she became aware of her surroundings not through her physical body, but through a new kind of awareness. She realized she was floating, weightless and detached, looking down at her own body. From this vantage point, Lily could see everything happening in the operating room. The doctors and nurses were moving frantically, their faces tense behind their masks. The machines around her body emitted sharp, urgent beeps. Something had clearly gone wrong. She should have felt terrified. But instead, she was calm, detached, even. It was as if she were watching a scene from a movie, a life or death struggle playing out below her that she was no longer a part of. What struck Lily most was the absence of pain. Moments earlier, she had been in agony from appendicitis, her abdomen burning with relentless discomfort. Now, there was nothing but peace. The sense of relief was so profound that she barely noticed the strangeness of her situation. She wasn't frightened, she wasn't confused. She simply floated there, observing everything with a quiet curiosity. Then she saw it. A light appeared in the distance, a tiny, radiant point against the darkness. It wasn't like any light she had seen before. This light didn't hurt her eyes or feel harsh. It felt alive, vibrant, and filled with love. The light seemed to call to her, beckoning her forward, and without hesitation, she felt herself being drawn toward it. As the light grew brighter, everything else faded away. The room, the sounds of the machines, the medical team, they all dissolved into the background. Her entire focus was on the light, which pulsed with an energy she couldn't explain but instinctively trusted. It wasn't just a visual phenomenon, it was something she felt in every part of her being. It wrapped around her like a warm embrace, filling her with a peace she had never known. Lily began moving toward the light, though she couldn't tell if she was walking, floating, or simply being carried. All she knew was that she was getting closer. And the closer she got, the more intense the sense of love became. It was an overwhelming, unconditional love, one that seemed to know her completely, flaws and all, and accept her fully. For the first time in her life, Lily felt truly and completely at home. What she didn't realize in that moment was that this was only the beginning. The journey she was about to embark on would take her beyond the boundaries of the physical world, offering her a glimpse into the mysteries of existence that would change her forever. As Lily moved closer to the light, the world around her transformed. The darkness faded, replaced by a tunnel of swirling, iridescent colors that seemed to pulse with life. These colors were unlike anything Lily had ever seen before, vivid, otherworldly shades that didn't exist in the physical world. The air, if it could be called that, felt alive, humming with energy and love. Every moment of this journey was infused with a deep sense of peace. As if she were exactly where she was meant to be, Lily began to notice she wasn't alone. Shapes emerged from the light, first indistinct but gradually taking form. They weren't people in the traditional sense, but rather beings of pure light. Their presence radiated love and warmth, and Lily could feel them communicating with her not through words, but directly into her consciousness. It was as though they were speaking to her heart, bypassing the need for language entirely. Each thought they conveyed was clear, filled with an unshakable sense of truth. Among these beings of light, two figures stood out. One was her grandmother Sarah, who had passed away when Lily was just a child. The other was Emma, her best friend from college who had died tragically in a car accident. They appeared ageless, glowing with a joy and vitality that transcended anything Lily had ever known. Yet, despite their radiant forms, she recognized them instantly. Their presence filled her with a profound sense of comfort and love. Lily, Emma's voice resonated within her mind. Not spoken but deeply felt. "We've been waiting for you. There's something important you need to see." Before Lily could respond, she felt herself being gently guided by her grandmother and Emma. The tunnel expanded, opening into a vast, indescribable space filled with light and beauty. It was unlike any depiction of heaven she had ever seen or imagined. This wasn't a place of golden gates or clouds. It was an infinite expanse of living light, shimmering with colors and patterns that seemed to carry meaning beyond her comprehension. Everywhere she looked, Lily saw geometric shapes and intricate designs, all glowing with a vibrant energy. These patterns seemed to shift and flow, revealing layers of complexity and beauty that defied description. She couldn't explain how she knew, but she understood that these patterns held the knowledge of the universe, truths so profound they couldn't be fully grasped in the physical world. Just gazing at them filled her with awe. At the center of this expanse, Lily felt a presence. It wasn't a figure or a face, but rather a vast, infinite consciousness that she somehow knew was God. This presence was overwhelming in its magnitude, yet completely welcoming. Lily felt simultaneously small and infinitely valued, as though she were both a tiny part of something greater and an essential piece of it. The love emanating from this presence was unlike anything she had ever experienced, boundless, unconditional, and utterly consuming. In this moment, Lily understood that God was not a singular entity bound by form or image. God was everything: Father and Mother, Creator and Nurturer, both personal and universal. The presence encompassed all things, existing beyond the limits of human understanding. Lily felt deeply connected to this presence, as though it had known her for all eternity, understanding every thought, action, and feeling she had ever experienced. Then, without warning, the presence began to communicate with her, not with words, but with a direct infusion of understanding. It wasn't a conversation but a transfer of knowledge so profound that it left Lily breathless. She was about to witness something extraordinary, something that would forever change the way she viewed herself, others, and the very nature of existence. Emma and her grandmother gently guided her forward, their radiant forms glowing brighter as they moved closer to the heart of the light. The space around her seemed to pulse with anticipation, as though the very fabric of reality was alive and eager to reveal its secrets. Lily felt no fear, only a profound sense of trust and curiosity. "You are here to see the truth," her grandmother's voice echoed within her mind. "What you are about to witness is sacred, but it is also a gift, a glimpse into the infinite love and wisdom that guides all of creation." As Lily absorbed these words, she felt herself being drawn even closer to the center of the light. The colors around her grew more vivid, the patterns more intricate, the love that surrounded her deepened, becoming almost tangible, like a warm embrace. She knew, without a doubt, that she was about to see something miraculous. The journey through the tunnel of light had been incredible, but Lily sensed that this was only the beginning. What lay ahead would challenge everything she thought she knew about life, death, and the universe itself. And yet, she felt ready. She had been brought here for a reason, and she was determined to embrace whatever came next. Lily stood in awe as the light around her seemed to expand, pulsating with a life of its own. She was no longer simply observing, she was immersed in it. Part of it, every fragment of this space seemed to vibrate with purpose and meaning. Then, like the unfolding of a symphony, the presence she understood to be God began revealing a profound truth to her, one that would forever change her understanding of existence. Before her, a space emerged that resembled both a vast artist's studio and an intricate workshop. It was a realm of creation, But it was unlike anything Lily could have imagined. Every surface, every shape within this space was composed of living light and energy. The patterns and colors danced in perfect harmony, flowing into one another with a precision that felt both scientific and artistic. It was breathtaking, overwhelming in its beauty and complexity. This, Emma's voice resonated within her consciousness, is where souls are created. Lily's mind struggled to comprehend the magnitude of what she was seeing. The space felt infinite, yet deeply personal. It wasn't simply a location, it was a process, alive and ongoing. As she watched, she saw sparks of light appear, each one glowing with an intensity that seemed to carry the essence of life itself. These sparks, she realized, were the beginnings of souls. God's presence became more pronounced, filling every corner of the space. It wasn't a figure she could see but a consciousness she could feel, an energy of boundless love and infinite wisdom. Through this presence, Lily began to understand the process unfolding before her. It wasn't just a mechanical creation, it was a divine act of love and intention. Each spark of light, she was shown, started as a fragment of God's own essence. These sparks were not randomly generated, they were deliberate, purposeful. Lily saw how each spark was infused with a unique combination of qualities: love, wisdom, creativity, joy, and countless other attributes. The process was intricate, more like composing a symphony than assembling a physical object. Every detail was considered, every element woven together with extraordinary care. It's like music, Lily thought, and as if in response, the space around her seemed to hum with an otherworldly melody. The patterns and colors moved in harmony with the sound, creating a sense of unity that was both beautiful and humbling. She watched as God's presence guided the creation of each soul, imbuing it with what she could only describe as a divine blueprint. This blueprint held the essence of the soul's purpose, the experiences it might have, the lessons it would learn, and the challenges it would face. It wasn't rigid or predetermined, rather, it was a framework filled with possibilities, each tailored to help the soul grow and evolve. Lily felt a deep connection to this process, as if she were remembering something long forgotten. She realized that this wasn't just about new souls being created, it was about the interconnectedness of all existence. Every soul carried within it a piece of the divine, a spark of the infinite love that surrounded her now. As she continued to watch, she noticed other beings of light moving through the space. These beings weren't like the human souls being created, they were something else entirely: helpers, collaborators in this grand act of creation. Their presence was gentle but purposeful, their movements precise. Lily understood that these beings, perhaps what humans might call angels, assisted in the creation process, ensuring that each soul was crafted with care and attention to detail. One of the beings moved closer to her, its light shimmering with a soft, golden glow. It didn't speak, but Lily felt its thoughts merge with hers. It was showing her something, a deeper layer of the process. She saw how each soul was not only infused with divine qualities but also with challenges and imperfections. These were not flaws but opportunities for growth. Every soul, the being conveyed, is created with the potential to learn, to evolve, to expand love and consciousness. The challenges they face are not punishments but gifts, carefully calibrated to help them fulfill their purpose. Lily was struck by the profound wisdom in this approach. It was a perspective she had never considered before. In the physical world, challenges often seemed like obstacles, things to be avoided or overcome. But here, she saw them as essential components of a soul's journey, as vital as the strengths and gifts that were also woven into its essence. She was shown how this process wasn't bound by time. In this realm, time as humans understood it didn't exist. Everything happened in an eternal now, a moment that contained all possibilities and outcomes. It was a concept that was difficult for her to grasp fully, but she felt its truth resonate deeply within her. As she absorbed this understanding, Lily was filled with an overwhelming sense of gratitude. The love and care that went into the creation of each soul were beyond anything she had ever imagined. It wasn't just about making something beautiful, it was about creating something meaningful. Something with the potential to contribute to the expansion of love and consciousness in the universe. Lily was then shown something even more extraordinary. She saw how souls were connected not just to God but to each other. They weren't isolated sparks of light, existing independently. Instead, they were part of a vast, intricate web, each soul linked to countless others. The growth and experiences of one soul influenced the others, creating a ripple effect that extended across all of existence. Every soul, God's presence conveyed, is a unique expression of divine love, but none are separate. Together, they form the tapestry of creation. The magnitude of this truth left Lily in awe. It made her realize how interconnected everything was. How every action, every choice, every moment of growth contributed to something far greater than itself. It was a humbling realization, but also an empowering one. Even the smallest act of love or kindness, she saw, had the potential to create ripples that could touch countless lives. As the vision began to shift, Lily felt a deep sense of reverence for what she had witnessed. The process of soul creation was far more than she could have ever imagined, an act of pure, intentional love, guided by wisdom beyond comprehension. She realized that every soul, including her own, carried within it this divine essence. Each soul was a masterpiece, a unique contribution to the ever-expanding expression of God's love. Emma's voice gently pulled her attention back. This is only part of the truth, Lily, she said. There's more for you to see. With that, the space around her began to shift again. The light and patterns swirled, and Lily felt herself being drawn deeper into the heart of this divine mystery. What she had witnessed so far was extraordinary, but she sensed that the journey was far from over. There was still more to understand, more to experience. As the light shifted around her, Lily felt herself being drawn even closer to the presence of God. The overwhelming love she had felt since entering this realm intensified, wrapping her in a warmth that seemed to reach into the very core of her being. It wasn't just love she felt, it was understanding. She felt completely seen, as though every aspect of her, every thought, every mistake, every triumph, was known and accepted without condition. The space around her transformed again, becoming something even more profound. Patterns of light and energy now moved in deliberate, purposeful ways, as if the entire realm were alive and conscious. Lily felt as though she were standing at the very heart of creation itself. This is where the journey of every soul begins. God's presence conveyed to her. It wasn't a voice she heard, but a truth that resonated directly within her. But the creation of a soul is just the beginning. What comes next is just as important. The scene shifted, and Lily saw what she could only describe as a web of light stretching infinitely in all directions. Each point of light on the web pulsed with energy, radiating its own unique frequency. Some lights were brighter than others, while some seemed dim or distant. Yet every light was connected, its energy flowing through the web and influencing all the others. This, God's presence continued, is the connection of all souls. No soul exists in isolation. Every soul is a part of this greater whole, influencing and being influenced by the others. The growth of one contributes to the growth of all. Lily watched in amazement as the web seemed to come alive. She saw how the actions of one soul sent ripples across the web, touching countless others. A single act of kindness, she realized, could set off a chain reaction that reached far beyond what the soul performing it could ever imagine. Similarly, a soul's struggles or pain sent waves through the web, prompting other souls to respond in support or compassion. She was then shown something even more profound. Lily saw souls that seemed lost, dim points of light that appeared to have strayed far from the brilliance of the web. Yet even these souls, she realized, were never truly disconnected. Thin threads of light still reached out to them, offering them a way back. God's love for these souls was just as strong, just as unconditional. As for the brightest lights in the web, no soul is ever abandoned. God's presence conveyed. Even those that seem to have lost their way carry within them the original spark of divine love. They are not lost, they are simply learning in their own time, in their own way. The potential for them to reconnect is always there. This truth struck Lily deeply. In her life, she had often judged others or even herself harshly for perceived failures or shortcomings. But here, in this space, she saw those challenges in a completely different light. Every struggle, every mistake, every moment of pain was not a sign of failure but an opportunity for growth. It was all part of the journey, part of the process of a soul learning to expand its understanding and expression of love. As Lily continued to watch, she was shown how souls chose their paths before entering the physical world. It wasn't a rigid plan but a set of possibilities. A framework designed to help the soul learn and grow. Each soul, with the guidance of God and other divine beings, selected the experiences it would face, the joys, the challenges, the relationships, all tailored to help it fulfill its divine purpose. It's like a school, Lily thought, and immediately the presence around her affirmed the idea. Life, she realized, wasn't about perfection or avoiding pain. It was about learning. Every soul entered the physical world to experience, to grow, and to contribute to the expansion of love and consciousness in the universe. She then saw something that took her breath away. She was shown her own soul, its journey, its challenges, its triumphs. She saw how even the most difficult moments of her life had been opportunities for growth. Moments where she had the chance to expand her understanding of love and compassion. She saw how the relationships in her life, both the joyful ones and the painful ones, had all been part of this greater plan. Lily's heart swelled with gratitude. For the first time, she truly understood the purpose of her existence. It wasn't about achieving perfection or avoiding mistakes. It was about learning to love more deeply, to connect more fully, and to contribute to the greater tapestry of creation. As the vision faded, Lily felt a deep sense of peace. She understood now that life was not a random series of events. It was a journey, guided by love and filled with purpose. Every soul, including hers, was a unique and precious part of this grand design. Her grandmother and Emma reappeared beside her, their light warm and reassuring. "You've seen what you needed to see," her grandmother said, her voice filled with love. "But there's one more truth you must understand before you return." The space around her shifted again, and Lily felt herself being drawn closer to the infinite presence of God. She was ready for whatever was to come next, her heart open and her soul filled with a newfound understanding. As Lily moved deeper into the heart of God's presence, everything around her felt alive with meaning and love. She sensed that this final part of her journey would reveal a truth so profound that it would shape the rest of her existence. The light around her grew brighter, the patterns more intricate, and the melodies more harmonious. It was as though all of creation was singing, each note contributing to a symphony of divine purpose. Then, everything stilled. The presence of God filled the space completely, and Lily felt as if the entirety of her being was held gently yet firmly in an embrace of infinite love. It wasn't overwhelming, it was exactly what she needed, at precisely the right moment. Through this connection, she felt the depth of God's love not just for her, but for every soul in existence. This love wasn't passive, it was active, creative, and ever-expanding. God's presence began to communicate directly with her, imparting truths that resonated deeply in her soul. "You've seen the creation of souls and their journeys," the presence conveyed. "Now you must understand the ultimate purpose." Lily felt herself being drawn into a vision unlike anything she had experienced before. She saw the universe itself vast and infinite, teeming with stars, planets, and galaxies. Yet, this wasn't the cold, mechanical universe she had learned about in her science classes. It was alive, pulsating with energy and light. Every corner of it was connected by the same web of love she had seen earlier. The same divine essence that flowed through every soul. She understood then that the purpose of every soul, every life, every moment of existence, was to contribute to the expansion of love and consciousness in the universe. Each soul was like a thread in a vast, intricate tapestry. Together, these threads created something far greater than the sum of their parts, a living, evolving masterpiece that reflected the infinite love of its creator. Every soul's journey matters. God's presence conveyed. Every choice, every experience, every act of love contributes to the greater whole. Even the smallest act of kindness can create ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. Lily was shown how this truth played out in the lives of individuals. She saw a woman who, despite her own struggles, offered a kind word to a stranger. That single act of kindness created a ripple that touched countless lives, inspiring others to act with love and compassion. She saw how challenges and hardships, while painful, often led to profound growth and transformation. Even the darkest moments, she realized, carried the potential for light. She was then shown the interconnectedness of all souls. It wasn't just about individual growth, it was about collective evolution. As one soul grew, it contributed to the growth of others, creating a cascading effect that uplifted the entire web of creation. This interconnectedness was both humbling and empowering. Every soul, no matter how small or insignificant it might seem, had a vital role to play. But Lily also saw that this process wasn't always easy. Some souls, she was shown, struggled to align with their divine purpose. They became disconnected, lost in fear, anger, or despair. Yet even these souls, God's presence assured her, were never beyond hope. The spark of divine love within them could never be extinguished. They were like radios temporarily out of tune, but the signal was always there, waiting to be rediscovered. No soul is ever truly lost. God's presence conveyed. Every soul's journey is sacred, even when it seems to stray. In time, all will return to the source. This truth filled Lily with hope. She saw that even in the midst of pain and struggle, there was always the potential for redemption and growth. Every soul carried within it the essence of God's love, a beacon that could guide it back to its divine nature. As the vision faded, Lily felt an immense sense of peace. She understood now that life wasn't about achieving perfection or avoiding mistakes. It was about learning, growing, and contributing to the expansion of love and consciousness. Every experience, no matter how challenging, was an opportunity to align more closely with this purpose. Her grandmother and Emma appeared beside her again, their light warm and reassuring. "It's time for you to return," her grandmother said, her voice gentle but firm. "What you've seen is just a glimpse of the infinite love and wisdom that guides all of creation. But your journey isn't over yet. You have a purpose to fulfill." Lily felt a pang of longing. She didn't want to leave this place. This state of being, the love and peace she felt here were unlike anything she had ever known. But deep down, she knew her grandmother was right. She had more to do, more to learn, and more to share. Emma stepped forward, her presence radiating love. "Remember, Lily," she said, "you are infinitely loved, your life has meaning, and your soul was created with great care and purpose. Share what you've seen with those who are ready to hear it." With those words, Lily felt herself being drawn back toward the tunnel of light. The colors and patterns swirled around her, carrying her gently but firmly toward her body. As she moved, she felt a deep sense of gratitude for everything she had experienced. She knew that this wasn't the end, it was a new beginning. The journey back was both sudden and smooth. One moment, she was surrounded by the infinite light of God's presence. And the next, she was gasping for air on the operating table. The sharp sounds of monitors and the frantic voices of the medical team filled her ears. Her chest heaved as she took her first breath back in the physical world. The doctors and nurses stared at her in disbelief. By all accounts, she had been gone for 7 minutes and 23 seconds. They had done everything they could to revive her. And just as they were about to lose hope, she had come back. But Lily knew that what had happened wasn't simply a medical miracle. It was a divine intervention. In the days and weeks that followed, Lily struggled to put her experience into words. How could she possibly explain the magnitude of what she had seen? Human language felt inadequate, incapable of capturing the beauty and complexity of the truths she had witnessed. But she knew she had to try. Sharing her story, she realized, was part of her purpose. As she resumed her life, Lily found that her perspective had shifted completely. She no longer saw people as simply individuals. She saw them as souls, each carrying a divine spark, each on their own sacred journey. Her students, her friends, even strangers on the street, all of them were connected, part of the same web of love and creation. Lily's fear of death had vanished. She no longer saw it as an end but as a transition. A return to the source of all love and consciousness. What she feared now was not living fully, not embracing the purpose for which her soul had been so lovingly created. And so, Lily began to share her story. Not to convince others but to inspire them. She wanted people to know that they were not accidents, that their lives had meaning, and that they were infinitely loved. Each soul, she believed, was a masterpiece of divine creation, carrying within it the potential to grow, learn, and contribute to the expansion of love in the universe. As Lily reflected on her experience, an overwhelming wave of gratitude washed over her. It wasn't just for the extraordinary glimpse she'd been granted into the profound mysteries of existence, something so vast and interconnected it defied her previous understanding, but also for the renewed opportunity to live a life brimming with purpose, love, and intention. Each memory of her journey felt like a gift, a reminder of how fleeting and precious each moment could be. The realization filled her heart with both humility and hope. She knew that her journey was far from over. There would be challenges, joys, losses, and triumphs ahead. But she also understood that the path was not about rushing towards some distant goal, but about embracing each step, each breath, with mindfulness and gratitude. With a newfound sense of clarity and peace, she felt ready to face whatever lay ahead, knowing that she carried within her the profound wisdom of her experience. It wasn't just about living, it was about living fully, one moment at a time. If you believe in God and near-death experiences, subscribe to Life at NDE today. Discover inspiring messages from God through powerful near-death stories that bring hope and understanding. Hit subscribe now and join us in spreading the light of faith.